Okay, now in this video, we're going to take a look at a practice question for the pick from the list question. This particular example comes from the Cambridge IELTS book number 6, test number 4. This is reading passage number 2. So here is our passage. It says, literate women make better mothers. It's a question, and it is going to explore this question. So let us come down to our questions here. You'll notice that I've already highlighted certain keywords. And then here we have our questions. So we only have one question, but you have to write the answers as two separate questions. So here are the answer choices, and what you have to do, just to reiterate, just to summarize everything that we've talked about in the previous video, what you have to do is when you get a question like this, you will simply come down to this question and mark the keywords from the question. So this question says, which two important implications drawn from the Nicaraguan study are mentioned by the writer of the passage? So in this question, we are looking for two implications of the Nicaraguan study. Implications means basically what kind of conclusions we can draw from the study, or what does the study suggest we should do. So that is what implication means. So what you have to do is just mark the keywords in the question and then leave this question alone. Then you're going to go ahead and do the other easier questions first. So here we have reading passage number 2. So you would first answer all the easy questions from reading passage number 2. And then once you have answered all of those easy questions in this passage, then you are going to return back to this difficult question at the end. Okay? At the end of this reading passage number 2. So then when you answer this question at the end of the reading passage number 2, then you can move on to the next reading passage, which is reading passage number 3. So in this question, I'm going to assume that I have already answered my easy questions first. And I'm also going to assume that while I was answering my easier questions first, during that time, I kept these keywords in the back of my mind. I was on the lookout for these keywords while I was answering my easy questions first. So I had these keywords in the back of my mind, and when I was looking for my answers to the easy questions, I came across this keyword, Nicaraguan study. And over here as well, Nicaraguan study. So immediately, I recognized that these are keywords from the pick from list question. So when I saw these keywords, I marked them so that it would be easy for me to locate these keywords when I do return back to my pick from list questions at the end. So those are the assumptions that I'm making for this question. I'm assuming that I already found this particular keyword from my pick from list question. I've already found Nicaraguan study. So next, what I'm going to do is I know where I found this keyword, so I can immediately go to that spot in the reading passage. And when I go to that spot, I can simply search for my other keyword. So I'm going to look for the keyword implications, or something related to study, findings, research, results, okay, some sort of a conclusion that we can draw. I'm going to be looking for this keyword and also for synonym language for this keyword in the area where I located this keyword Nicaraguan study. So I'm going to be looking for implications around here, and right away I see that I have the word implications over here. So now that I have located my other keyword, implications, my job is going to become so much easier. So guys, this is why you have to do the easy questions first, because when you answer the easy questions first, you're going to give yourself the chance to familiarize yourself with the reading passages, with the content in these reading passages, and that way you don't have to spend all this time to look for these keywords from the beginning. I mean, if I didn't mark these keywords before, and if I didn't have these keywords in the back of my mind while I was answering the easy questions first, then this would be rather difficult for me. So it's useful to have these keywords in the back of your mind while you are answering the easy questions first, so that you can quickly answer these questions when you do return back to them at the end. So now our job has become pretty simple. I know that I'm going to find my answer probably somewhere around here. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to look for what those implications are. So let's go ahead and figure out what the implications are for this Nicaraguan study. So here it says, the Nicaraguan study may have important implications for governments and aid agencies that need to know where to direct their resources. Okay, so one of the things that they're talking about is the allocation of resources, where to direct their resources. That's one of the things that they're talking about. Then it says, Sandy Ford says that there is increasing evidence that female education at any age is an important health intervention in its own right. Okay, so here it's talking about how female education is an important health intervention. I'm also going to go ahead and read my next sentence over here because I see the word results, and results is synonym language for implications. So I'm going to go ahead and read the next sentence as well. It says, the results of the study lend support to the World Bank's recommendation that education budgets in developing countries should be increased, not just to help their economies, but also to improve child health. Okay, so what it's saying here is that basically the education budgets should be increased in developing countries. And we do this not just to help their economies, but also to improve child health. So here it's really talking about resources and budgets and how we should spend the money. That's one of the implications that is talking about in this paragraph. So let's come down to our answer choices and let's see if we can find something related to money, resources, or budget. Okay, so here I see nothing about that. Nothing there either. Here also I don't see anything about money. Nothing there either. I see economy. And then here I see the word money. So here it says, money spent on female education will improve child health. Well, that is exactly what this paragraph is telling us. It's telling us that we should increase the budgets because that is going to improve child health. Right there it says that. So this is one of our answers. The letter E is going to be one of our answers. Now let us go ahead and see which other answer choice is going to be the other correct answer choice. By the way, here it mentioned economy, but it's not really talking about money. It says improving child health can quickly affect a country's economy. It doesn't say anywhere that when the child health improves, that it's going to have a positive effect on the country's economy. It doesn't say that. So that is obviously not the correct answer choice. Not for this paragraph at least. So let's move on and let's try to find the other implication. So now I'm going to look again for synonym language related to implications. Another thing that you could do is you could simply look at the keywords from the answer choices and try to see which keywords you can find in the paragraph. For example, you might choose to mark certain keywords from the answer choices like education, mature women, campaigns, successful maternal literacy programs, and so on. So you could do that, and then you could try to find those keywords in the paragraph. But I'm not going to do that. Most of the times, this is not going to be the best option for you. Most of the times, you should only focus on the keywords from the question and then try to find which answer choice is the best match. So in this case, I'm not going to mark the keywords from the answer choice because I don't see any great keywords here, and also because I've already located the area where it's talking about implications. So I don't think I need to mark the keywords from the answer choices. So I'm just going to directly start scanning this paragraph for anything related to implications. So here we go. Okay, here is saying the Nicaraguan study suggests we may be able to bypass that. So to suggest is synonym language for implication. What is it implying? What is the implication? What is the study suggesting? The study is suggesting that we may be able to bypass that. But I don't know what that is. What is this pronoun referring to? We don't know that. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the previous sentence to figure out what this pronoun is referring to. So the previous sentence reads, but we thought that even if we started educating girls today, we'd have to wait a generation for the payoff. But the Nicaraguan study says that we may be able to bypass that. So what this sentence is saying here is that before we thought that if we started educating girls today, we would have to wait for a generation, for a very long time, for that to have any positive effect. But the Nicaraguan study suggests that that is not true, that we may not have to wait for such a long time. We may be able to bypass that. Or, in other words, we may be able to take a shortcut. We can somehow shorten that process and make it much shorter. That's what it's saying here. So let us look at our answer choices again. It is better to educate mature women than young girls. Well, it doesn't say anything about how it's better to educate mature women than young girls. It's not talking about a comparison. It's not comparing mature women to young girls. So that is not the correct answer. B says similar campaigns in other countries would be equally successful. Nope, says nothing about similar campaigns in other countries. C says the effects of maternal literacy programs can be seen very quickly. Okay, that is our answer. That is synonym language. We can see the positive effects of this program very quickly. We don't have to wait for a very long time. Here it says that before we used to think that we would have to wait for a very long time to see any positive effect, but that is not true. This study suggests that we can bypass that. We can make it faster and quicker. So the correct answer choice is going to be C. And then D says about economy, so that's not the correct answer choice here. So the only two correct answer choices are going to be the letter C and the letter E. Great. So I hope you see how this works. What I would suggest you do, one more time just to summarize everything, focus on the keywords from the question, okay? Those are going to be the most useful keywords for you, the keywords from the question. Most of the times, you should not really have the need. I mean, if you have a good question, if you have good keywords in the question, like I have over here, then you really should not have the need to mark the keywords in the answer choices. You can choose to do that if you're having a hard time, or you can choose to do that if there are proper nouns in the keywords of the answer choices. Then you can choose to do that. But I suggest that you just stick to the keywords from the question. In the next video, I'm going to show you another example. We're going to go over practice set number 2, in which I'm going to show you a question in which we don't have any keywords. Okay? I'm going to show you a question in which we don't have any good keywords. And in that case, you would have to mark the keywords in the answer choices and use that to locate your answers. So that's coming up next. Stay tuned for that, and I'll see you in the next video.